What can business owners learn from recording artists? The music industry is the most difficult one to crack. Learn some powerful secrets from the music biz to help your business on this week's DMC Marketing Nugget. All right, so on this week's Marketing Nugget, I'm going to bring in one of my old school friends, O Solomon, who I have worked with about 20 plus years ago in the nightclub industry. He's an amazing video guy, and he's going to tell you some of the secrets that he's using right now to help his business out. Welcome, O.
Hey, what's good, Devin?
Good to see you, buddy. So we go way back. We've had a lot of fun. And it's just so awesome to see all these connections that are doing amazing things these days. And I know you've had the fortunate ability to work on commercials for people like Hyundai and WWE and all sorts of crazy video shoots. I'd love to hear really what you got going on in your life right now and tell our audience on what's new in the video world.
Oh man, a lot has changed since we started running in those nightclubs doing the partying that we did 20 years ago. I'm a little older now. I can't handle that stuff, but we was able to move along from there, went to doc series and documentaries, shows with MTV and such. And I left the sports world about 9-10 years ago and got more into corporate work and entertainment with live concerts and such. And just kind of, keep the flavor up there, man. It's like, I get bored. So I try to mix it up a little bit just so I don't get burnt out of anything.
Understood. And of course, this crazy year of 2020, I know people are getting a little tired of hearing it, but obviously there's a lot of shifts that have to happen for businesses to succeed. There's a lot of people that are just burying their heads in the sand, not knowing what to do and giving up. You've taken a different path to that. So let me hear a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's this has been a crazy year for all of us. I think the biggest word, I was joking with a friend of mine the other day from an old episode of Friends. I think pivot is the biggest word that we all use. Pivot. And that's what we had to do. When I met you 20 years ago, I think when we were in a nightclub doing this TV show, myself and other friend of ours that Bob, we were the only guys. We ran the camera. We would take the footage back to the studio. We'd edit it together. We'd send it out. And, it was a 2-man band. And, through the 20 years since, we've grown. The industry itself has grown. Obviously, when you do movies and TV shows and music videos now, you guys see the credit list at the end. There's 900 people on a credit list. So those budgets get to $80 million. I think what happened when we hit this brick wall that is the coronavirus, we realized real fast that if you were going to continue to work, you couldn't carry 900 people with you. And I think that's something that the folks that were able to pivot and figure out how to minimize what our crews were and try to, continue moving forward. We're I don't want to say lucky, but we were more fortunate enough to get out there and get work ahead of us because businesses still need our skill set. They still need production. They still need marketing like you guys do, but they can't do it like they used to, just out of safety for others. And being able to go back to those 1- and 2-man bands, I think that saved at least my company.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a great lesson to just understand that you don't have to do it the way that you've always been doing it. You may have to revert back to ways you were doing it 20 years ago or come up with new exciting ideas to keep the budgets down, to be smarter on how you can do things at one location and not many locations so you don't have any worries about spreading any kind of coronavirus. So now we're going to talk about politics. Psych, just kidding.
Whoa, and I'm out.
That's a whole nother episode, right? So,
right.
No, but you've been active as well, and you got your own business going, and it's just awesome to see all the wonderful things that you're doing. But now with the music industry, this was something, as you mentioned, you were doing music videos years back, but you went more to the corporate scene. We're doing a lot of the docuseries and different documentaries that you were doing. But now you're finding yourself back in the music world and shooting some awesome music videos.
Yeah. I mean, it's the crazy part is content is great, right? So we all know content is king. So even if it doesn't matter if you're Coca-Cola or Hyundai or WWE, we all figured out little, not to take a name of your great show here, but we all got little nuggets now. Now it's not just commercials. Yeah. Now, guys have music videos. WWE has doc series parts of their situation along with their major commercials and big live events. And when this all went down, a lot of those little things started really popping up. Like, what can we do? Musical artists were calling me, from big name artists all the way down to new artists. Like, okay, we know we're limited, but what can we do to not feel limited? We all lived in the world of Zoom calls and this virtual environment for a long time, from the big networks down to little guys like us, but eventually we all figured out, hey, I can get a better camera, a better connection to the computer, or we can figure out how to do a whole movie within a house. And Hollywood is starting to budge a little bit. But, we're in a fortunate environment outside of California, because they got hit pretty hard and still are, that we were able to kind of start testing the waters a little bit. And I was able to, fortunately enough, with some of the bigger names that I did and the newer names, to get in kind of the mix of new content and ways to produce new content.
Okay, so music, there's so much talent out there today and a lot of great voices out there. Some are getting picked up with these one-hit wonders and then they fade out. So today we've got another little nugget for everyone out there, and we're going to bring in another special guest. This is a friend and a client of O's. Oh, why don't you go ahead and do the intro and bring in our next guest?
Oh man, I'm not worthy to bringing in this guy. This guy's I was fortunate enough to meet this guy through a buddy of mine who owns a great recording studio down here in South Florida. And when I heard his stuff, it was crazy. And I know the world's going to be the same way. But this is Cowboy. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only.
Yeehaw.
Yeah. I think that's the first thing everybody says. I was like, man, it took me a while to dig through the hat, and it was great.
I usually get the yeehaws.
Oh.
Even if I don't say anything, I'll just be walking down the side of the street. There's somebody on the other side of the street. Yeehaw! That's what it is.
You already got your tagline built in. Well, great to have you, Cowboy. Now, you have some similar roots back in the Tampa days. Now you're on the West Coast in California, enjoying the beauty out there and living it up. You got a couple different businesses going on. And we want to hear some of your insight, and you've just been awesome as far as the formulas that you put together and how you're doing some things with a couple of your businesses, but really how you're breaking through the scene on the music world with Spotify and different playlists and things that I didn't even hear about until you mentioned them earlier. But tell our audience on what you got going on and how you're breaking through some of this clutter of artists out there.
So basically I'm in between my cannabis company and my record label, and my record label I'm pushing myself as well. So juggling the two has been pretty difficult, but during COVID, it's actually, it's kind of been the what do you call it? Well, cannabis company was, what's the term I'm looking for? Essential business. Yeah, we're considered an essential business, so we were able to stay open. So through those times, we were able to triple and quadruple our sales since people were staying home, which freed up some more time for me to focus on music and become a better artist, focus on my music, my piano lessons, vocal lessons, and we were able to crank out some really good, songs in the beginning. And then when things started to open up a little bit over there in South Florida, I was put in touch with O, and we just decided to rent a mansion for a month and crank out 5 music videos, build as much content as we could to get ready to release as a new artist. Nice. And some of the, the struggles have been is just really getting the music out there as a new artist, and it's really about your hustle, who and just getting as much stuff out there as you can, but also in a proper manner.
Gotcha. So, typically, a lot of the musicians, they may just produce one song, one video. I think you and O, if you want to talk about this, how you took a different approach to knock out a good handful of content all at once.
Yeah, absolutely. It's as we were discussing, it's it sounded real hip hop, right? At the beginning, it was like, oh man, I can go to Miami and get this mansion, and these guys are living that life. But in all honesty, there was a tactic to it, right? So when he called me about it, we were like, look, we kind of want to. His business model was, look, I know that I'm not going to be able to branch out and do videos like we do in the normal way. Every 90 days, every 100 days, we do a music video. So let's see how we can knock out a bunch at one time. And so we started chatting about, it was like, well, we can't really move around Miami like we want to. So what could we do? And so that was where the mansion came into place. It wasn't to be Flossie and Mr. Rick Ross or anything like that. It was like, you know what a mansion does? It gives me 30 locations to shoot something. The kitchen, the jacuzzi, the hot tub, the bedroom, the spare bedroom, the backyard, the front yard. So now you got basically like a studio and you have sets all over the place. So it wasn't about flossing. It was about the ability to shoot 5 videos that look distinctively different in this one location where we all could just stay in this box, in this bubble for this 30-day window. We cranked it out.
So that's how you really pivoted. I mean, there's that word again, but that's how you pivoted to get as much content as possible. So now that we have this content, we got to get out there on social media. We got to get on Spotify. We got to do all these crazy things. And we just revealed your real name, but Cowboy, go ahead and, I mean, there's things that you were mentioning that I never even heard of as far as trying to get on playlists on Spotify and those different things to just get up there on the top. So fill us in a little bit on that.
So there's tons of, music platforms now. You got Apple Music, SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube, tons of different ways to get yourself seen and heard. So we're trying different tactics and trying every different platform, seeing what works best, what playlists work best for our music, even trying different styles of music and figuring out what sound works best for yourself as an artist. But now there's we've been lucky and able to, one thing is we have, relatable music and it's good music. So that's one of the big things is having some good music and a good look and a good image. And now if you can get out there on these playlists like YouTube. There's a lot of people out here that are curators, independent curators, A&Rs that just have, connections. And if you play your cards right, or if you have some funding to back yourself as an independent artist, then you're able to get yourself on a lot of these playlists and a lot of these platforms. So that being said, I have 1 or 2 people I work with for different, services. Like one gentleman, and I work with him as far as YouTube playlisting. Now Now with my sound, I have a raspy voice, but I sing R&B and also rap as well on my verses. So he'll put me on some country, hip hop, country rap playlists, and as well as some R&B, because I can hit all different genres basically with my sound. So we're trying different playlists on YouTube, and then on Spotify you have the same thing. Anybody can go make a Spotify playlist. Anybody out there if you have an account. So there's people who have workout playlists, playlists curated just only certain artists' hits, or bedroom playlists for,
for whatever goes on in the bedroom.
For whatever you want, whatever goes on in the bedroom.
And some of these playlists, I mean, it's not like you just put it out there and they're on the playlist. You got to form these relationships, and some of that is pay to play. So tell us how you're paying for some of these things as well to get up there.
So there's different ways to do it. You can pitch your songs, which is you contact these playlist pushers or whatever on certain websites. A lot of them are, you got to be careful. A lot of them are phonies, a lot of them fakes, and they'll say money or it doesn't work very good. So you start small, and you start with small amounts and see what they can do for you. And then there's independent curators as well who we've been fortunate enough to, they contacted us through social media on Instagram and said, hey, look, I have these playlists. These are the packages. So there's a few playlists that have worked really well for us, and we spend a few $100 to get number one on these playlists that have a couple 100,000 followers, and they've generated a few 100,000 streams over the past few months over our various songs. So just building your brand that way. We're just trying to build as much content as we can as far as music, image, streams, and then I'll pitch myself to a label to get the deal I want. That's the goal. So
obviously you got to have the good content. Yeah, I mean, you got to have the good content, which you have. So you got the look, you got the content, and then you're able to buy into some of these things to get more exposure and get your name out there. And then with you're dripping. Now that you have this content that O shot, instead of dripping one video and then you're done, you have a series of videos that you're dripping, so you stay fresh and you stay in front of people. So that's just awesome to hear, and congratulations on your success. So for people out there, you want to listen to Cowboy, what's the best way, Cowboy, to find you right now?
Right now on social media, I would say Instagram. The Instagram handle is IamCWBY. It's Cowboy without the O's.
Okay.
I will be releasing my first solo single on October 30th. And I'm getting everything launched right now. I'm getting ready to go. So I'll have my Twitter handle, my Facebook coming up, YouTube channel, everything. So October 30th is the big release date.
Well, audience out there, you're seeing him nice and fresh before he gets super famous, but spread the word about CWBY out there, and make sure you tell your friends, and stay tuned for October 30th when he launches more music. Always awesome to have you here, and fill us in on some of what you got going on in the near future, and how people can get in touch with you if they want to get some amazing professional video shoots. I know we work together on video stuff, but go ahead and fill everyone in.
I appreciate it. It's my slogan around here is I like to make good TV, and that's really what it's all about. So you can always follow me at makinggoodtv.com. And we got a lot of great stuff coming up. We obviously our awesome videos we shot with Cowboy, but look out for, we have a three-hour concert coming up with Taste of Soul and with Hyundai that has about 30 of your favorite artists. And make sure that you guys get out there and you keep supporting your musical artists and such. We know you can't get to concerts and things, but a lot of them are still out there doing online events and virtual events, so you can keep those parties jamming at your house or at your local area, and just keep it fresh. Stay safe, but let's keep partying.
Absolutely, keep partying on. But I think the nugget from today is about content. You got to have lots of content out there, come at it with a different angle, be interesting, provide education, provide information, become that authority in your industry, and really keep pushing it out as much as possible. And if you're unsure on how to do it, that's why they make people like myself and we're always about coming up with great strategies, whether you own a business, whether you're a music artist, whether you're trying to launch your own business or anything like that. Hit us up. We're here to make sure that you're on the right path to success. And awesome pleasure to have you. Cowboy, we wish you the best of luck with everything. Thank you very much for joining us. And
appreciate it.
We hope to have you back here.
Thanks for having me.
No problem.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You bet.
No, I'd love to be back here. As soon as we start releasing some music, check in with me in a month when I'm millions of streams.
All right.
Videos doing great. Yeah. I'm excited. I mean, I don't know if O's sent you the video, but the first single I'm releasing, but it's awesome, man. I'm really excited to get this going.
Yeah, you guys go.
We'll give everyone a taste of that as well during this nugget. So, I hope you guys enjoy. But let's make this man very famous, and we can all be part of that. So, appreciate it, guys. Be sure to share and like this video. We're coming at you every single Monday with a new DMC marketing nugget. Hope you're enjoying. Stand by, leave some comments, tell us what you want to hear. But go out there, create some killer content, and get it out there as much as possible. Thanks for joining us for another DMC Marketing Nugget. We'll see you right back here next week.